This is really important as far as staying up with luxury pricing or any pricing right now. We're gonna see a lot of different things happen right now. Of course, in our market, inventory is low. And that's because a lot of folks are looking at, well, I move up or move down right now, but based on my 2 or 3% interest rate I have, I don't wanna go buy something at 6%. Because you have to remember, if every 1% your interest rate is different, you lose 10% of your buying power. So at 2%, if they could afford $1 million, and now it's at 6% or 4% difference, they can afford 600,000. There's a huge difference between $1 million property and a $600,000 property. A lot of people are saying, no, I'll pass, I'll just stay where I am. But with luxury, it's even different because those are ones which have vast price ranges. I mean, you can sell $1 million property, or you can sell a $10 million property too. And how people look at that for an investment purpose are going to be quite a bit different. Like for money, selling for $1 million, they pay cash. $10 million, they may pay cash, may finance part of it, maybe do a lot of different things for it. So you have to look at that, and then also how they look at it for an investment. Because they're looking at that as an investment. It's just like my stocks, my bonds, my Bitcoin, whatever that is. What type of return am I getting on real estate right now? So they're looking at that, and also what am I putting into it? What things are going to satisfy? But you look at all the different ones, you have some great properties out there, but maybe very dated. We put one under contract for 2.3 million, but on the inside, it was a lot of 90s stuff. Well, we're in 2023 now, 2024, that's 30 years. If you want to get 2020 prices, then it needs to look like that, not 1990. And again, it's tough to tell people, saying, hey, your house is dated.
Were there deep greens and burgundies?
No, but there
And
was
brass?
there was some brass.
And green
There was
marble?
some carpet.
Any green marble?
No green marble, but it had the marble, which was that kind of earth tone. And then it had the faux cabinets, which, you don't see that in the luxury listings right now for those. It's just not gonna happen on those things. And it had the chandeliers, which was the old brass type chandeliers, but there was a dark brass, But again, that's dated. That's not what they're doing right now.
Interesting.
And with those pictures alone would have been $2,000 to swap them out. But they're quite massive.
What did they like to do? Decorating allowance or change it?
Well, they end up taking a price cut on it, but again, when you're dealing with the seller, it's always gonna be an emotional response. But if you don't have the knowledge as far as what the pricing is doing in the market, it's very tough to have that conversation with someone that's dealing from the emotion. You need to have some facts to back it up and some logic to back it up as far as why we're pricing it the way we are and what to expect as far as days in the market.
Well, and if they built the house, because I had 2 clients, same thing, that both of them had built the house with the builder. And one was from 1990s. It was 27 years in one house and 30 years in the other house, but both of them were very dated.
Yep.
And, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig.
It's true. Or it's specific for them, like this one house out of 2 Rivers. It was all in one level except the bonus room above the garage. But he was adamant about having wood trim and being stained.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, then he had his columns. It was a faux paint columns. You're going to that's he's on right now. But again,
Yeah.
at that time when he built it,
And
he loved it.
And
He
people loved it and still love it because it was their idea when they built it.
Yep,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
their baby.
Who wouldn't like that?
And then you go into the bathroom, the master bathroom, there's mirrors
Mhm.
everywhere.
It's called the Homer.
Yeah.
Years ago in Simpsons, Homer got in touch with his brother, it was Danny DeVito, and his brother was a car designer, so he let Homer design a car. And Homer designed the Homer, which no one wanted except for Homer. And you're absolutely right, because I've traveled I've done insurance appraisals for construction costs, with houses are, and, that are just to figure out what to price them, make sure they're insured properly, and we specialize in million up in historic. And you see some wild things, and people love their stuff, it's like
Oh, yeah.
trading in
Oh, yeah.
cars. And you ask somebody, oh, you're trading your car, is anything wrong with it? No, and you take it for a test drive, and it's like, well, check engine lights on, it's lit, it's what it is.
You know what I found the most interesting out of both of those properties is that the new property that they were going to, everything was updated, everything was. But yet they couldn't see what needed to be done on their property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's what's gonna help you. We're talking about how do we stay up on those things. First thing is, I'm gonna walk through some different areas we're gonna talk about. One is pricing the listing to sell. Okay? Another, and this is to avoid extended days on market, comparing new homes to existing homes. Because right now, new home builders are putting down some fantastic deals because they have to move inventory. Collie out there off of Church Street, you guys know what I'm talking about in Brentwood?
Mhm.
And new subdivision,
Mhm.
by Grove Park. They were discounting those $200,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
to
think
make
one
up,
point three,
you
but they
can't have
had
it
to move it.
yeah, you can't have it sit there. No.
Because they don't want it to get into it, where they gotta roll it into a new mortgage or something. Pricing the amenities. Like elevators are becoming more and more common. Where before they were kind of few and far between. Now a lot of people expect to have an elevator in the luxury type home. Also using some of the technology as far as how you price out the technology that they have in homes. Some of that could be just the camera systems that they've got on there. It could be the remotes, it could be their Lexus or, voice activated systems. Area preferences, where they want to be, and also the method of payment. These are all things we're going to be looking at today. Now, one of the tools and strategies you want to use for practicing is looking at market stats. Now, one is, and you need to look at these weekly. Now, one is you can use MLS, where you're actually coming up with your own market stats and then formulating those and putting together. One company that does that for you is called Area Pro, where it's very simple. I'll show you a sample in just a second. And it actually has it by cities that you can put it in, or a county that you can put it in. Typically, cities, you're gonna want more specific in our area. And what that does, it'll break it down by price range for you, give days on market, number of pending, in the area, how many sold, what's the sale price to list price ratio, which through an MLS could take quite a bit of time. Another one is using broker open houses. This is a great way to keep updated as part of what's going on in the market. And also you're gonna be able to network with other agents dealing with high net worth individuals. Another one is joining exclusive luxury groups. One is KW Luxury. They've got their own Facebook page, they have their own events. Actually, the Experience put on a great event last year where they had Brady Sandall, the director of KW Luxury. He came here and spoke at the event. We had about 70 people there, but it was just a fantastic event. He had some other speakers there with him. Another one is collaborate with other local luxury agents. And this could be networking get-togethers. It could also be masterminds that you do with each other. Just kind of keep updated what you're seeing in the market, what you run into. Networking with luxury agents from around the country. Now, this one is going to be very big this year as far as looking at your referral network and start to build that. And that's really another class as far as how you build that network of those high net worth agents. And one is start with the Facebook groups and then start with your Instagram account and get on that. Then monitor the stock market and other financial tools. This is going to give you some key insight on some individuals. If you know that they're heavy into stocks or heavy into a certain industry, if you're seeing that industry go down, they may also be kind of pulling back from buying, or maybe they want to sell now to cash in on some stuff. But again, knowing those financial tools and staying up to date on the stock market is going to be key. Now, one of the things too is this market research is monitoring the sales. We want to monitor days on market, of course, sold price to list price, number of properties for sale by price range, number of properties pending, and inventory on hand by price range. And one nice thing is I'll put the link for this, recording on our Facebook group, where you can go to YouTube and watch it. This is that area pro I was telling you about. And you'll get this as far as from the starting, but you'll see it's got 270, and this is for Brentwood. Average days on market's 88, pending is 56, pending ratio is 21%. They sold in the last 6 months, 362. Average days on market 61, average sold per month is 64% of list price. That's down a little bit. We were at 97.1. Okay. Average active listing 1.9, pending 2.2. Can't see the sold but we got thing there, but you can see the price ranges that breaks it down, and this does it automatically. And you can
How
see,
much is it? What's it cost me? Is this included? How much?
I'm not sure on Area Pro. We have to check with them and see, but it's just areapro.com. But you can see right here, check on 3.5 to 4 million. Days on or month supply jumps to 70 months supply. When you get to that 3.5 to 4 million. 10-month supply here, and look at the number of units. 14 to 10.
Wow, it's crazy.
Average days on market, you can see what it is. Pending ratio. Now, this one, you may want to do some investigation, find out why is that happening? Because it's 14 properties in Brentwood in that 3.5 to 4 million.
Don't you think that those are the ones that are so dated and people didn't want to spend the money on updating them?
They just want
And
to
they're,
return.
they're just willing to hold out for the person that says,
It could be.
Mhm.
Now, let's talk about that. If you're going into a listing appointment, okay, and they're close to that price range, what does this do to take away their emotional factor to make a good decision as far as list price now?
well, it gives them a visual, to look at, something.
It makes it bold.
It's statistical numbers.
Yeah, 70 months.
Yeah, you're not getting the fish are not biting regularly.
Right.
Like you're
Yeah.
casting a line depending upon price and, yeah.
And
I
the
would
other part
also
too with
wonder
this,
what the square footage is of those, because if they are
But you look at
8,000
the-
square feet,
4 to 4.5, and you got 8, and it's only 16 months supply.
right?
And you look at list price, they're actually 103
Mm-hmm.
to 104. So these people are hanging on to get their price, but it's not working for them. When they drop down here, we're seeing those sell. And your pending ratio, 70% pending ratio versus here. Now, when you're sending this report to them each week, and they're wondering, why isn't my home selling?
Mm-hmm.
This right here has triggered a lot of folks to tell us, said, we need to lower the price. I got your report.
So you send this report every week to your seller,
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the cool thing about it.
and this.
And who developed this is Mike Hicks. Have you guys heard of him? He
No.
developed the Promise with Keller Williams.
Mm-mm.
And what he does is, he's got this little bitty town that he just essentially owns. He does like 26 to 30% of business in the town. But what he does, whenever he gets a client, he sits in front of them and says, I promise that me and my team are gonna make this such a great experience for you, buying or selling, that you're gonna give me 2 referrals before the transaction is over. That are either ready to buy or sell. And some people have done it as soon as it's left the listing appointment on the way home, says, hey, I got those 2 names for you, here they are. Boom, boom. He says, and if I don't get those 2 names from you at the closing table, I'll ask, so what did we do wrong? That you didn't feel comfortable referring us. And he had one guy that he hadn't got the referral from, so at the closing table, he said, well, I gotta ask him, what did we do wrong? He goes, I just wanted to see if you're gonna do it for the 2 names.
No.
But he and his business partner actually put this thing together because he was tracking the data too, so he could
Is
make
this
it.
a tool that would be accessible to us if we wanted it?
You could purchase separately on this right here, but there's other tools like this. But again, I want to show you some examples as far as what you're looking at to give to your clients. This is just an example, because there's several other tools, and that's the great thing about real estate is it's a copycat business. And then this one was just set up for Brentwood. You can also set them up for Franklin, Williamson County and stuff. Brentwood is, because of this stat right here, I use it because it's so drastic. And it really points it out well.
Interesting. Just that caveat above and below, still moving.
Now, the other one is broker open houses. We talked about that. When you talk about broker open houses, it's not just going in and saying, hey, they've got champagne and, bagels and lox that they're doing today, okay? It's not about that. You're going so that you're educating yourself on what that market's doing. It's like when new agents come on our team, they have to go do 100 previews in the market. And the reason we have to do that is now they get to know what the market looks like. They need to go out, take a look at the houses that are for sale, see what it is, look at it through a buyer's eyes, and then send feedback to that listing agent so they can actually say, this is what we're looking for. But you're also going to recognize pricing in different areas. When you go into a broker open, you're saying, man, this is priced a lot more than what the one I saw later in or earlier in the week or last week at this particular one. Why is that? It could be the HOA, it could be because of location, it could be the county, all different types of reasons, but it's going to give you that. Another is going to give you insight to the competition. If you've gone to see these broker opens and then you're going on your listing appointment, you know what you're competing against because you've been in the home. And when you're talking about prices, this one right here doesn't show up well in the pictures, but when I was here, this is what I saw. Again, that makes you the market expert. That
How
makes it
does one, I mean, this, I'm probably serving you almost since today, so how does one gain knowledge of when broker open houses are taking place?
Some is you can look in MLS, it'll say, open house, and it'll say public or broker.
The emails that come every day.
Okay.
You
I haven't started them yet.
Okay.
But again, when you
Are
start
you
going
a
through,
new
you'll see
agent?
it.
You're a brand new agent.
Mhm.
Oh, just
Well,
wait.
bless. Welcome.
Yeah, it will, it'll be one of those things where there's so many open houses, so many broker open houses that you're like,
You're seeing more and more of them now.
yeah. And 3 years ago, there were no open houses.
Well, we couldn't, COVID.
Well, also with the market the way it was,
Are we allowed to hold open houses for people in other brokers?
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm here because of Deborah Brophy. You don't know her.
Oh, yeah, she's great. So everybody said hi.
Yeah, I can't fix your lawnmower, but I can build your house and handyman extraordinaire. So somehow it's hilarious because she found me on Nextdoor and I show up and she's like, "You're gonna meet my husband." I open up the door. And I'm one of those weirdos. I'm a graduate. I'll change my voice. I graduated from Franklin High School in 1985. And I open up the door and there's a buddy of mine from high school.
Oh, wow.
Steve Brophy, he's my deal. And yeah, so she's what led me here to Jason. Done.
No, Deborah is absolutely great. She was on our education committee and she actually, developed one part that we wanted to because we were in a group called, Treat Your Business Like a Business.
Mhm.
And everybody had to do a different part of the business and hers was on the recruitment aspect. And she came up with all the different reasons why you would want to join Keller. And she did a great job of that because she broke down all the different advantages we had over the brokerages.
Well-
She was invaluable. I learned a lot just from interviewing her and I made some other calls. So
And I moved from Simply Home.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did. And Benchmark is still chasing after me. And do you know Drew Hendry?
I do. Great.
Yeah.
I
Drew, yeah.
For
Yeah,
benchmark.
he's so nice.
I love
But I was like, you know what? I'm very happy at Keller Williams. I said, I'm getting so much value that I didn't get at Simply Home.
Mhm.
You know, things that I was paying for things out of my pocket that I'm not having to pay for here because of the experience. It's night and day different. So if you're new, once you get to a certain level, I would encourage you to check out the experience because it's very worth it, but you have to sell a certain amount to be able to participate with them.
You know, and we got so many different aspects here.
Yeah.
that was one of
And
the reasons I
Chris,
that's one of the reasons I came. So I don't know what I don't know.
And that's one of the things is you get to ask those questions here. We do a lot of each. I was, chairman of the professional development committee, WCR last year.
Mhm.
And I got to know Kathy Moore,
Mhm.
our benchmark, and Kathy is fantastic. But Kathy, I'll tell you what, she goes over and beyond as far as acquiring knowledge from stuff happening around the country, but she was our president last year. And just have a world of respect that there are so many great agents throughout our community that just don't think because they're not at Keller Williams, they're not knowledgeable, they are.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I've really got to appreciate so much about each brokerage is everybody has different strengths. One of the things Keller Williams does really well is culture and also education.
And I will say to Wes's, you know, to put a little feather in his cap, teamwork is amazing, particularly if you're a new agent, because you have such support and exposure and discipline. You gotta get drilled into the, you know, program so that you get into a habit of doing these things to become successful. And then you get, you know, your fearless leader, and he's awesome too. So I would highly encourage those considerations. I started at Parks with nothing except a bougie little name, a brokerage, and it was a wow experience. And then I went to Benchmark with no commissions and thought, I'm done paying, you know, my broker for nothing. It's like, wow, I have no support. I have nothing there. And I wasn't ready for that. Didn't have enough experience. It was not.
Well, I made all those decisions based on all those factors.
Yeah, Keller is
Let's
definitely
be
a
honest
great
with yourself.
landing spot.
There you go.
They've got everything.
One of the other things as far as trends in the area is also network with other agents to explore new listings for buyers. And what that means is they may well have had something that went off the market and they said, they're not looking to sell. That $2.3 million property was actually off the market, just because we had got their broker open. We knew that it may be right for this buyer. So we were able to connect them even though it was off market property at the time.
When that happens,
Mhm.
do you reach out to the previous listing agent, or do you reach out directly to that?
I think it's a case by case basis.
Maybe depending on how long it's been off the market or
Mhm.
something, yeah.
So. Another one is staying current with the market. Now, one of the things that's gonna help you is these exclusive industry groups I talked about. Because you're gonna find out that what we're experiencing is not gonna be always unique to Nashville. A lot of times what we see happening on the east and the west coast kind of filters into the center of the map over time. And then also avoid outsiders' opinion that lack understanding. If you've got some people that deal with $300,000-$400,000 homes are very, very good at it, but they've got an opinion on luxury, and you've got some people in the industry groups that deal with high net worth individuals all the time, they're telling you something different. You want to side with what those folks are telling, because they've got the experience. Because their communication with high net worth individuals is totally different.
Say that again?
High net worth individuals,
Mhm.
okay? If you have people that are dealing with them almost exclusively, you've got other agents that are dealing with $400,000, $500,000 buyers,
Oh, I see.
the mindset is totally different as far as what you're seeing in the luxury market versus what you're seeing in just a mid-range market.
Right.
And again, the people that deal in that mid-range market, they're gonna have a lot more folks in that. So that's why you want to have those industry groups that you stay in tune to see what they're doing to combat when they have their people pull back because the stock market's not doing well, or their businesses aren't doing well, or they're looking at, hey, it's not a good time to invest.
How do you network that, industry group?
When you get that industry group,
Yeah.
they'll post listings like on KW Luxury, they'll post listings on there. You just type in, hey, nice listing, send them a friend request.
So if you want to be part of KW Luxury,
That's an earned in part of it, but you can also go into, there's other groups out there too.
so it's an earned in, what do you have to do to earn into that?
Great question. And what it is, you have to sell 4 properties within a 2-year period that qualify for luxury, depending on what county you're in.
So,
Is that for here too?
so
It
you're
varies.
probably familiar with,
$700,000 for Davidson, 1.2, I think it is for Williamson right now.
luxury,
Just
luxury, brand.
The
Luxury
certified
home marketing.com.
specialist,
Mm-hmm,
the CHLMS,
mhm.
is actually
So
a
I'm-
class you take. You take that
Right.
class.
Yes, I've
You're
done
part
that.
of, now,
I'm
one of the
guilty.
things you get that, Jeanette Spinelli does a great job. She's in Austin. She's part of the place. She's been interviewed on CNBC numerous times
Right.
to see what that market's doing. She'll actually post what I call flip book on her Facebook page when it comes out each month.
So,
So it tells them that, hey, I know about luxury, and that's what you're telling all your Facebook friends.
so if you've reached guild status, which you have to have the 4 properties to reach guild status, does that qualify? Like, I would just have to reach out to somebody.
You would just give it a list. You'd have to
Okay.
list out those properties and show her the closings on it,
Got it.
and then they could get it. And one of the other things too, since you remember that, CHLMS, is you can go on there and you can see everybody in Tennessee that is, or in
Yes.
other states, and reach out to them.
Yeah.
Send them friend requests and say, hey, I'd love to sit there and pick your brain from time to time, or you can say, hey, I'm gonna host a mastermind session and give them a subject, and say, I'd love for you to attend. And your first one, maybe nobody shows up, who cares? Okay, but you send out a follow-up to them and saying, hey, I'm so sorry you missed it, even though you were the only one there, okay? They don't know, they didn't show up, okay? But again, you said, we talked about, these were the items of discussion you want to be able to talk about, but you'll have your topics then that you would have talked about. And I said, oh, that would have been good, I would have liked to have done that. And then when someone does show up, then you drop that name, says so-and-so showed up for this one, this is what we talked about.
Okay.
Okay? But again, having that referral network, because it's gonna build that referral network. From people moving from California, Texas, Virginia, okay? And it's also gonna give you new marketing ideas. Because you're gonna see some of these people blast some great, property websites. And you're going, that's really cool. Because I'll tell you, the age of putting them in magazines is over. It's great for ego. It's great for the consumer because they get to see their thing in the paper. But when they ask us, do you want to see your house in a magazine a month after it put on the market, or would you like to have it sold by then? And I'll say, well, I want it sold. Yeah.
I mean, please.
I mean, how many times has someone said, hey, I want you to take me to see this house in the magazine?
I know, right?
They don't do it.
Gosh,
But it
it's
costs
changed
a lot
so
of money.
much, right?
And it's all ego-based is what it
Yes.
is. So I want you guys to think about in your marketing presentation on that aspect of it.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be it's not.
When you
No.
think about it, it's not, but everybody goes, oh, shoot, it's got, my picture on this great luxury listing, but again,
Well, honestly, let's just, look at it kind of. There are still some people alive that would very much ascribe to that and identify
Oh,
with
yeah.
that. But the new up and comings too, they don't even
They're on their
resonate with
phones.
that. Yeah,
they want to see something that's
we're
interactive.
still kind of in a flights market where in one way you still kind of need to cater to that because they're still here.
Mhm.
And then you've got the new up and comings that wouldn't even consider it. It's like, what does that even look like?
But again, the people that are most your buyers now.
Yeah.
Are gonna be in that market where it's
Oh, for
digital.
sure, yeah. But your sellers, you got your downsizers.
Just have to say, is that something you want to see,
Yeah.
a month later that it hasn't sold yet in a magazine?
I don't even subscribe to those.
And they go, oh, okay. Another one, collaborate with local luxury agents. Now, the benefit of that is you're gonna be able to source buyers and future listings. I want you guys to remember, 28% of all purchases are made by referrals of other agents. Agents makes the referral, says, you should look at this property. And that's because you went out and saw it, or someone told you about a property. And it could have been one that was expired, that they had, says, I had a listing like that 3 months ago, and it sounds like it would have been perfect. It still hasn't sold yet. They're waiting till June to put it back on the market. So again, that's a great part. The other one is build rapport before entering the deal. When you're in these type of situations, both sides want to make the deal. Okay? And it's all on how you approach it. It's not a me versus them. It's we're getting together, we're putting this deal together for our clients. And sometimes it's some weird stuff that we do. And I can give you an example of Jeff Yarborough. He is the ambassador for KW Luxury in Beverly Hills, California. He had one where he had this star that he would set up the appointment. And it'd be happy on the beach, they find him on the beach, they go, and he'd chase after him, but he just ran to the house real quick. And then he go get back in his Jeep and take off. He goes, how was it? He goes, nope. And then next one, same kind of thing, chase after him. How about this one? Nope. Another one, go through, he says, yep, write it up.
Well,
Wow, so he called him later and says, well, why was this one the right one? He goes, because of the dog.
oh,
He goes, the dog. Yep, the dog needs to come with the house.
oh, wow.
And that's what, the exact same thing that Jeff said about, how am I gonna do that?
Yeah.
So he wrote up the offer and reached out. He dealt with this other agent before. He goes, now, you know, you did the asking price. We did that. He went through all the asks. Now, there's one other aspect that's gonna be a little bit tricky when you talk to your sellers. And he would like for the dog to remain with the property. And to talk to the agent, you know, the next day after they present the offer and stuff. They said they agreed to it. So really?
Oh, my God.
He goes,
We're
yeah.
not getting
Because-
that dog.
Well, here's the reason they did it. When I heard the reason, I said, that makes total sense. They said at first that they were kind of upset and thought, you know what? That dog loves running up and down the beach and running up and down the beach. And he grew up as a puppy doing it. So how cool would it be for the dog to be able to stay in his home?
Wow.
Yeah. No, that, it makes total sense. I mean, and if you don't ask, you don't ask, you don't get.
But could you imagine if they didn't have that report and make that deal work? How that deal
That's
might.
crazy though. I would not have complied. That's my child, you know.
It's your job, but then when you start thinking about it, saying, you know, we're gonna do here, it's not gonna be conducive for a puppy.
She would
And what the
have,
best
she would have
part-
wanted to play on the beach. She'd rather be with me, I promise.
Okay, the last one is also local insights, okay? Even though that we're in Nashville, people that deal in Bellevue and focus on that area, they have a very keen insight of what's going on there. Same type of thing with Green Hills, Brentwood, okay? Franklin, those are areas, you know, if it's West Haven, they know those areas.
Call your
very well.
agent, your specialist, hey, what's going up?
Yeah,
You
and
know.
again, that's one of the cool things about having that rapport with other agents, because they're gonna help educate you for that. The other one is networking with luxury agents around the country. One, like we talked about, for you're building your referral network, which is gonna add to your pipeline. The other one is exposure to new ideas for marketing. Because you're gonna see all kinds of people get creative or old type things that they're bringing back into marketing this year. And you'll see those trends in the different areas too, that as far as what's going on with it. And the free tacos, you know, for life with purchase of home, don't always work. Okay. Now, this is the big one, monitor the stock market and other financial items. Depending on the price of the house, some are gonna be financed, some are gonna be cash buyers, okay? They're gonna be probably selling stock or selling some assets, you know, to buy that house. If the stock market is going up or down, you need to know how that's working, so you can have that honest conversation with your buyers and sellers. What's that mean to you to reach your end goal? Because again, you are one of their financial experts as a real estate agent. You're helping them build wealth.
Exactly.
The other one is what are interest rates doing? That's a huge difference between a 4% and a 6% interest rate on a $3 million property.
Right.
Okay. Also, return on investments. And if HNI is high net worth individuals, consider real estate as an investment. What has real estate appreciated for in the price range in the last 2 years? What's it anticipated to do this year? Other Bitcoin, get to know about Bitcoin. Okay,
I've heard that's on the way out.
well,
But I was advised anyway.
there's a lot of different thoughts about that. One is that it's gonna be regulated more because a lot of,
Right.
they think a lot of trafficking for drugs, guns and stuff is happening through
Say it's a
Bitcoin.
lot. That's great.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, but again, the other part is too, is that, it is something that people are using more and more frequently now.
Purchase.
Yeah, it's back up.
More
It's
accepted,
way back.
okay? But your trends in the stock market, you need to take a look at those, and what are they looking at? What's your inflationary factors? Okay, because they're looking at that towards interest rates. Today, they just announced that now they're kind of cool and that there's gonna be a rate cut, you know, first quarter of this year. Okay,
They projected 3 for 24, haven't they?
they did, but
At
again,
least
if
3.
they're not getting the data that they want, then they're saying, well, we need to sit there and hold the interest rate where they are.
That's a big jump from 7 to 3.
I know, right? And
It's a
just
drop.
head
It's
spinning.
specific.
head
I don't think
spinning
it's gonna be
drop.
down
I
to
don't
three,
think-
I think it may get to 5
Right,
next year, 5.5, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna. get
I don't
to
think
5.
3 is even healthy.
I don't, right, I agree.
Okay.
I think if they stay somewhere between 4 and 5, I think that's a good, healthy market and people will still purchase. These younger, buyers that are first-time buyers. And regardless of the bracket that they are purchasing in, they are very aware of how that rate affects payment.
Mhm.
Oh, huge, but again, they looked at it not too long ago, and we got an 8% interest rate. That was great.
Oh, I
Well,
know.
compared to like
Yeah.
1980s,
Yeah.
when it was what, almost, well, 21% on my first credit card with Jimmy Carter.
So again, all those
That
type of
was
things,
nice,
they make a difference in how people are starting to get used to the, 6-7%. They're saying, okay, I can go ahead and buy, because if they don't, it's gonna cost them miles, because certain people think that right now with the inventory being low, if interest rates do come down, a lot of people are gonna come off the fence to
Sure.
buy. Well,
I'd say a million
now
in
you've
the
got
market.
low inventory, now people are bidding on these homes again, so it's gonna drive up that price.
You're right, that's what I've heard, even though the rates are coming down, the prices are gonna go back up, so it's still gonna kind of be the same wash, there's gonna be a lot of people that can't afford it.
Could be competition there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bidding war again,
So,
probably, I mean, I don't know, who can tell, but all to say, it's just flip flopping so much, I'm getting, neck strain, trying to figure it out, it's not my.
we're looking at the long term, we think that rates will go down towards
Yes.
the end of the year. And right now, if someone is looking to sell, we're saying, why don't you buy now, take up to 6 months, so we've got programs like that called NOD, which is available to Keller agents. And that way you can go ahead and buy secure a low interest rate, or make a great deal with new construction. And then you can go out and sell your home up to 6 months later. Okay, when it's a little bit more, active. But right now you can make some great deals, so it's actually good if you're looking to buy and sell.
Is that like Blue Ribbon a few years ago?
Not
Ribbon was a guaranteed,
Yeah.
Ribbon was a guaranteed closed type thing.
Right.
And
They fronted the cash for a fee. So you typically paid them, if they were fronting you the cash and you were buying and then selling afterwards, you were paying them, I think it was like 2%. And then there was another fee once you closed on that property. But if they were just a middleman, it was like 1 to 1.5. It really depended on,
Some
because it was
people-
different in all parts of the country.
Some people could not get they may not have qualified, but they had to close on this date, and they would guarantee the closing date.
Yes.
And there was a fee.
Oh,
Now,
I got
let's
you.
say that you were up to a certain point, you were a week away, and the deal fell apart.
Right,
For whatever reason, you went out and bought furniture, or got in a car or something. Well, they would buy the house, you would rent it back to them
yes.
until you were able to buy, and that was a 3% rate.
So the knock program,
Knock is not that. Knock is something where they will actually, it functions more like a bridge loan,
gotcha.
where they take a look at that, help you buy your house, and then they factor in, what would your payments be if you took 6 months, and they'll also give you an offer for your house in the 6 months if you don't sell it, what they will give you for it.
I think you also have to use one of their lenders. You have to,
Well, knock is only being,
yeah,
you have to use
Yeah,
a
you have to
certified
use-
knock agent, so you have to get certified, and it's easy to do.
We
Just
have that
contact them,
here.
it's online,
Mhm.
yeah, sure do.
You like it? You like that program?
I did, we've used it, it's great. One of the things on the roadmap to implement this now is one is reviewing your MLS key stats weekly, okay? Another one is set a goal for your broker houses that you want to attend for the year. If it's 1 a week, you're gonna go to 2 a week, or if it's, hey, I'm gonna go to them really hot and heavy up until March, and then I know the business is gonna come in, and I'm not gonna be able to do it April, May, and June. That's fine, but again, do that. Also preview properties, your new listings and your existing listings. If it's new construction and that you're looking for, a lot of times that's not in MLS, but you can go to newhomesource.com, and it has tons of all the builders and stuff in there. And a lot of times they got floor plans in there that are available, and they actually see what that floor plan looks like.
You still almost have to call each of the builders to see what their inventory is, because sometimes it's kind of like the magazine.
Yep.
You know, if it's a market home, it may have already sold, especially if they allow cross-selling in these neighborhoods, which a lot of them do now.
Do you need that info? I can't. Googling area pro MLS gives me too many links, so.
Oh, yeah, you got all kinds of stuff with area pro.
I need, yeah, whatever that, do you know their official website?
It's areapro.com. But again, I'll send it to you. I'll connect you guys to it. Okay. I'll actually put it in the, Facebook post with the report.
That'd be great.
Okay. Another one is create networking groups for your luxury agents. Okay, and that's just something that you can do locally when your broker opens, says, hey, we get together. Could be a small group, just get together for coffee for us and we talk about it. Or it could be, hey, we're gonna do it online, so we don't have to push down in the coffee shop, you know, whatever that is, whatever that's gonna be more comfortable for you. Join the exclusive national groups. If you're already a member, then utilize those. Also review trade periodicals. Inman is a great one. Okay. Another one is, stay up to date just on financials, and what I do in the morning after I get done at the Y is I'll sit down and start Googling just like Compass and hit news and see what's happening with Compass. I'll do Open Door, I'll do EXPI, I'll do all the different brokerages and see what's going on with them. Who's partnering with who and doing stuff.
Interesting.
Okay.
Is Park still a village?
Oh, yeah. That's, well, they merged
Yeah.
last year.
That was a weird one.
It seemed like it was rocky. It seemed like it was on and then it was off and now it's on again. I
Yeah,
don't
some
know.
of the people at Worth Village, they left.
Oh, yeah.
The people that said, no, this isn't gonna work. I
There's
said, well,
several of parks that left too, it changed.
Yep.
Apparently. Don't know.
but awareness in the luxury market, it's a constant endeavor. It's not something you're just gonna do one time and then say, oh, I got it, and leave it alone. You have to always be a student of that luxury market.
Can I ask your opinion on that, in this area, since we have such a price point, just within a 10-mile radius of where we sit? Do you think it's oversaturated? Operating from a seat of abundance, there's plenty for all of us. But what are your thoughts on that, on trying to become specific to luxury when it's already so saturated with this, where we are right now? What are your thoughts on that? Can you be a hybrid of sometime luxury, but you also have to have meat, potatoes, outside of the luxury markets in Williamson, Davidson counties surrounding? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, because you're gonna have clients come to you and says, my daughter's ready for her first house, she wants
Right.
to spend 400,000.
You're right.
I
Okay,
think if you
and also
want
if
to
you go to
go,
Zillow, just go look up a luxury person, you're gonna see
Yeah.
they've got some $500,000, $600,000 prices that they've sold.
of course, absolutely.
Because why are you gonna say no to
Right,
your business?
I agree.
I think if you box yourself into one area, you're cutting off a whole host of other potential opportunities. Mhm.
And one way to look at it too is Jane Campbell. When
Yes.
Jane Campbell started her business, she was selling people she knew. And at that time, I'm not trying to put a hit on Jane for age or anything, but there's $200,000 homes. Well, and then they did well, then they bought $400,000 homes. Then they bought
Gotcha.
600, then they bought
Attrition.
800, a million, okay,
Right.
because they moved up the price range. So now a lot of her customers deal in those $1 million properties. That she started here, Paula
Right.
Huntgarten, when she started the business 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I want to say. I watched her just slowly develop her brand and her team, even though you think of her as a single agent, she has a team, where she has an admin, she's got different people that do staging, different people that do construction work, different people do landscaping for her, but she has a team and she's got a system and proven systems in place. Okay, and then she also looked at different aspects like, what do I need to do for SEO? What I need to do for marketing? I know where I'm gonna get most of my business is gonna be my sphere. And that, she does through tennis.
Right.
But
What do you
again,
think about lead gen?
Lead gen is up for anybody, and you should have at least 3 different areas of lead gen, 3
You think
different
so?
legs on a stool, yeah. Because if you have one leg fall off on a stool, you're gonna fall over. because you just won't sit on two.
Mhm.
But if that's gonna be, one is your sphere, one's gonna be expired, the other one's gonna be open houses,
I mean, buying leads, Jen, what do you think about purchasing leads?
purchasing leads,
Right. What's your
what's your
opinion on
return on it? Any dollar you put in, you need to have a
that? Done it yet?
name on it, okay? So
I'm
if you're gonna
sorry,
buy,
Ben
yeah,
Kenny. I just took the class, so
go with
I'm all about it.
buying leads, you need to make sure you're getting a return on it.
Right,
Okay, and that's the biggest thing, and when I think about, some people are looking for a 35% referral fee. That can get
Wow.
expensive.
yeah, that's a
Okay,
lot.
now, if someone calls you up and says, hey, would you accept a referral for this, you know, okay, put that $1 million, you know, it's a listing, you know, I'm gonna negotiate a 3% for me, then, yeah, that may be worth it. Now, if it's 200,000, is it gonna be worth it, and it's gonna be all the way down, Fulton Wall,
Right.
Mhm.
that may not be.
Exactly.
So again, one of the things that you want to take a look at as far as what, first off, what's my sphere doing? Because that's what Gary talks about all the time. And you should call everybody in your sphere and just let them know, says, hey, just want to let you know the market is still abrupt. I just want to kind of let you know again, remind you, I'm in real estate and I'm going to answer the questions you have. Because it is a confusing time right now. And I'm going to be your trusted source in real estate. And you just tell them that.
Right.
Then you go into your four talk, where you talk about
Right.
occupation, recreation, and dreams. And by just doing that, you will find, just have 200 people in your sphere at least, you will find at least 1 or 2 people that are gonna buy or sell. Every time I've seen it.
And what was the piece you said,
Have 200 people,
the things to talk about?
Ford.
oh,
It's
for
a-
Board, yes,
Yeah.
family, what,
occupation, recreation, and dreams.
Hey, how are the kids? How's the job? What you guys been doing for Christmas?
Yep.
What's your dream? You know, what you got going for this year?
I forgot about
It's just a.
But yeah, it's just a normal conversation, so now it doesn't feel like you're slimy. And one of the things to remember too, to kind of take away that slimy feel, is you're there to help them, especially if they rent. If they rent, their average net worth is $5,600. If they own a home, the average net worth is $238,000.
It's hard.
If someone gets into a health or job issue, just for short term, that makes a huge difference if they own a home. Because some people say, well, I want to continue to rent because the economy is really screwed. Well, here's what happens. If you're in a home and you can't make the payment, you can contact the lender and say, hey, I'd like to inquire about forbearance. Where you can put those rental pay or those house payments at the end of the month. Okay? Or renegotiate that. If you're in rent, they just kick you out.
Mhm.
You could come homeless.
You do, yeah, at the end of it.
So again,
There's a show
huge
on
advantage.
Netflix, and the guy is a financial advisor, and he's a reporter for a New York newspaper.
Mhm.
I think it's called, Get Rich or Get Filthy, anyway. I was watching this documentary, and he has like several different people that he's helping. And he talks about, everybody says, buy a house, but I'm here to tell you, it's okay to rent. He says, because you know what your rent payment is gonna be. And I wanted to like reach into that television and say, no, you don't,
Yeah,
because they can
changes every
raise
6
it.
months.
They
Yep,
can
they sure
raise
can.
it.
And
I
they
mean,
gladly will raise it. They've said they will until this all settles out.
Yeah, he's talking about, we don't know what your insurance is gonna do or something like that. You can also go and price out your insurance and get it lower.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen that happen where I get a
well, and the
An
tax
increase in our
benefits
prices.
to owning
Yeah.
versus
huge.
renting.
Equity almost
Yeah.
as soon as you purchase. I mean, there's just
Right.
no question.
And
It's a mindset though.
real estate is beating the stock market. If you take $1 million and invest it into real
Yeah,
estate versus stock, and we actually partner with Goldman Sachs placed us. And they actually got in discussion with Ben about that. He says, no, I want you to take this and go put it through your things. And then they came in and did a study on it and found out that it was about the same, says, but you didn't factor in taking the rent payments and reinvesting that, did you?
Yeah,
They went, no.
right,
right.
right.
But real estate is a
You're
better
literally-
investment
Mhm.
than what the stock market is.
You're literally handing that money to someone. Here you go.
Well, there are some cases where it can be, if there's always exceptions to every.
Yes, it is, and I would say, So I'll give you an example. I have a client that lived in my neighborhood. They didn't sell with me. I met them right before they put their house on the market, but they were so, upset with this agent. And she was a benchmark agent, that they bought with me. And to this day, they love me. They